I want to give a quick heads up to those of you who've been in business for a little while, but you do have big stretch goals and ambitions for growth for the rest of the year. I have just opened up applications for the Heart-Centered Business Accelerator. This is a high-touch, intimate mentorship program in which you get that hands-on support and advice to find the leverage points and focal points so that you can achieve those big income goals without just having to double down on your efforts, without having to just work harder. I specialize in helping you find the easy, lazy, and fun ways to leverage your time, to grow your business, and to scale up without having to work harder. Make sure you come and check it all out at tashcorbin.com/accelerator, and I look forward to reading your application. I have a special guest in today's episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast, and it's the one and only Leonie Dawson. Leonie has been a speaker at the Heart-Centered Business Conference previously. She's also been a guest on the podcast before. She's one of my favorite online creators. She is a ray of sunshine, a sparkly unicorn, and she is one of the most generous people when it comes to creating content and creating courses and offering up all her pearls of wisdom and experience. Leonie also has a spectacular business academy, and I would wholeheartedly recommend that you join. I am a proud affiliate of Leonie's Academy. So in the show notes of today's episode at tashcorbin.com/476, you'll find my affiliate link to join the Academy, but also my affiliate link to some of Leonie's most amazing free resources as well. The vibe of our conversation is unsurprisingly that of a couple of biz besties catching up after having not spoken to each other for a little while because Leonie just moved to Canberra. But also we did cover some really juicy topics like using AI, being a prolific creator online, also adjusting your strategy and making changes to the way that you show up online as well. Some really juicy stuff in there. So make sure that you listen along to this episode. And at the very end, I've kept a little clip of what Leonie said after we finished the interview because it is just the most gorgeous little demon voice you've ever heard in your life, and I had to share it with everyone. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Don't forget the link to the show notes, tashcorbin.com/476, because there'll be some really juicy, helpful links there for free resources as well. Let's dive in. Hello, I'm Tash Corbin, a business strategist and mentor based on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. The mission of this podcast is to help heart-centered entrepreneurs to make more money, and in doing so, change the world for the better. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Gubbi Gubbi and Jinnaburra people. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Hello, and welcome. I'm joined today by the spectacular Leonie Dawson, who it's really impossible to sum up in one or two sentences, but I just want to say you're amazing at business, Leonie. You're an amazing teacher. You're an amazing artist, and I'm so grateful you're part of my life. So welcome.
Oh, I love you, Disney princess. It's such a blessing to get to be here and we can just talk garbage for an hour. It's very important.
Absolutely. And today I wanted to use this opportunity because I've had you on the podcast before to dig in to see like what's up at this point in time for you in your business, because you've had some really amazing transformations in your business over the years, and any trends or things that you have seen sort of happening for 2025, a little bit of predictions. Let's see if we can be oracles about what's going on in online business. So do you want to start, for those people who aren't familiar with your work, with a little bit of an introduction of what you do?
Sure. I'm a rainbowy unicorny kind of human, and all I wanted was to have a creative career and to have a business that meant I could be around my kids as much as possible. And so I started blogging back in 2004. I started selling my artwork online even before that. So it's been over 20 years now, and it's turned into just this enormous empire that I wasn't expecting, but I just kept following the delight along the ways. So I've now
Mhm.
created over $15 million in revenue while only working about 10 hours a week so that I can prioritize being around my kids as much as possible. And I create the My Brilliant Year goal workbooks, which have been used by over 500,000 people worldwide. And I'm also the founder of the Brilliant Biz and Life Academy, which has got over 100 programs in there. And I just wanted to create something that was super accessible for people to help them build beautiful, abundant lives and businesses. And that's my offering to the world.
I love it so much. And I've been a member of the Academy since it reopened. This is the second time it's been offered. And I just love being able to kind of duck in and out and grab what I need. And I also have to say, you are very good at curating guest trainers. Like you have a way of like seeking out some amazing people from around the world and getting their genius kind of showcased in the Academy as well. So I've been really loving the guest training lately and just doing those little one-offs, which are really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like, especially like the parts that I'm not the expert on. Like, it's so great to be able to pull in those voices, and then also to be able to curate some really important voices in terms of the Black, Indigenous, and people of color population, and learning more about inclusivity and all of the brilliant ways we can expand our mindset and our spirit in those ways, and also like it's not just that, but it's just this vast plethora of geniuses, including you, who's a guest expert in as well. Like,
Yeah.
well done on picking you. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Virtual mutual love fest. That's what this
Yeah.
is. And I am actually an affiliate for Leonie's Academy. So we'll put a link to the Academy in the show notes of today's episode, as well as a link to Leonie's free stuff page, because it's really good as well. So if anyone wants to go and check those out, I'll make sure I put those in the show notes. But Leonie, you have recently relocated down to Canberra, and you have also, changed your pricing model a little. Like last time, I remember we talked about like that really super low ticket model. I'd love to hear like what are some of the business updates for your biz in the last few months or the last year?
So when I started the academy, I began at the very low price point. So it was only $99 a year, and you're getting access to almost all of my programs in that, and monthly coaching and all the things. And for me, it's like when that number no longer feels resonant, it has to increase to a point that it feels good again. So it raised up to $199 for a year, and now it's at the $497 a year price. And that will probably go up again.
Yeah.
It just depends on like when I feel that call of like, right, okay, I'm really happy with where it's at, or I feel like it needs to expand again. And for me, the people who have already purchased at the lower price, they get to lock in that price for as long as they're members. So
Yep.
I know that like people on the $99 price point, they can just keep it for the next 10 years, however long I run the academy, and they're just getting like a deal of a lifetime.
Yep.
And then still having like courses that you can purchase individually as well, and they range from about the 99 to 297 price point.
Yeah.
For me, going forward, I will probably have some more higher priced programs, even more than that.
Yeah.
And that will be a fun place for me to explore, because it's not something that I've done that much of before, but it's good to explore new things. And I'd also love to see how it changes the energy of it when somebody's like really, really super invested in a program, instead of like, oh, cool, this is a great price and I'll grab it and use it when I need to.
Yep.
And more of like, oh, I'm committed and really invested in this. So that will be a fun space for me to play in as well.
Absolutely. Oh, that's juicy.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what unfolds. And I've got a brand new program just about to be launched, which is exciting. It's the Creative Goddess Embodied program. And it's actually, I asked my angels, okay, what do you want me to teach this year? And they were like, we want you to teach the Creative Goddess program again. And that was the very first e-course I brought out in 2008. And it's now 17 years later. And I feel like I have continued to learn even more lessons about how to continue to be wildly creative and prolific and productive. and making magic and miracles happen, with hundreds of workshops and thousands of artworks later. And so it's a brand new program, totally different from the first one, but it's like taking the wisdom and the energy of that and bringing it into the year of 2025 and all the big things I've learned along the way.
Oh, I can't wait to do that one. It sounds brilliant. I'm really excited for that. And is there anything that you're playing with from the marketing side as well, and how you start to expand your business or how you're showing up online?
For me, it's more the energetic stuff that I'm playing with because I've realized that I kind of put myself like an invisibility cloak over me, a number of years ago. So I went through a stage where I was kind of having just incredible levels of growth. And that was brilliant and beautiful in lots of ways. And it also meant that my visibility was huge and that I experienced a lot of hate and trolls. And there was a hate forum dedicated to bloggers at the time. And there was one that was devoted to me. And, I kind of thought that I'd worked through it at the time. But I realize now how much it did impact me and how much it impacted a lot of my decisions in the way that I showed up online. And I really kind of put on an invisibility cloak. And I feel like I've been just hanging out with all the people who already know me and love me, and I feel safe around instead of feeling safe enough to go out and expand into the world again. And so for me, it's really how can I continue to heal and get more comfortable with this idea that new people are going to find me and that may bring some challenges, but that I will be okay with those challenges and that I don't have to let it hurt my spirit.
Yeah. Wow. Such powerful stuff. I mean, I do wish I could go back in time and like go and give those people a serve, because how very dare they? But this is such a gorgeous kind of expansion space then for you. And I'm sure in years to come, we are all going to benefit from that in terms of what you then have to share with us about what you've discovered and what that means for you and how you interpret that for us. Because I think also something that I love about you is I know you're a prolific learner, but I almost love learning through you from other people. Like you go and learn a bunch of stuff and then you translate it in a way that like really works for my brain. So I'm really excited to hear in a few years maybe like what comes from this level of energetic work and this expansion of visibility and what difference it makes. Oh, yes. Keep sharing, please. Oh, very good.
Thank you. It's a new frontier.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Something that you talked about, being a prolific creator and that's a big part of who you are and your identity. I would love to hear your take on, there's all this AI generated art at the moment and AI generated content and those sorts of things. And there seems to be like schools where some people are like really pro AI, some people are really against it. And then there's a bunch of people who are like, I use it for this, but not that. Where do you sit in the AI thing? And, how do you feel about how much is coming at us from an AI perspective?
I guess for me, it's like I'm really cool with people choosing whatever works for them. And for me, I could not be less interested in AI. And when I see AI images pop up in my Facebook feed, it gives me the ick. Yeah. It does. I just like, I don't like that. That doesn't feel like art. That doesn't feel like something interesting or exciting or authentic or deep or heart-touching. It's like, cool, you've made some colors and they've randomly made an image. It's like a fart in a jar has accidentally made a shadow that looks like a face. Like, wow. I guess. Should we just afford that? I don't know. Good on you, but it's also, I'm not that interested. And in terms of what AI could do in terms of brainstorming or content creation or that kind of stuff, those are the things that I love to do. And those are the things that are like the point of difference in my business and also in my soul. Like I don't want to outsource that. I don't want to outsource my soul's job. What I would like to outsource is just like boring shit like cleaning and like just run of the mill. Like
Yeah.
I don't want my robots to be making the art. I want them just to be bringing me food. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'm
Absolutely.
thinking about the priorities here. Thinking about the
Mm.
priorities always.
Yeah. And actually, there have already been some early reports from social media scheduling tools that AI generated artworks that especially the quite obviously ones, they've got that sort of glow about them,
Yeah. Mhm.
are getting a much higher scroll pass rate as well, because
Mhm.
people are
Mhm.
starting to recognize that difference almost intrinsic, like really quickly. And so
Mhm.
people just sort of aren't looking at that thing because it's not real.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I also think, like, and this is probably more chatty, but the reason we're on social media is because we want to socialize. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
the amount of content aggregation accounts that are AI generated content, and then 90% of the comments are from bots. Like, the robots are talking to each other and
Mhm.
there's no humans there
Mhm.
because we are on social media to be social.
Mhm.
And I didn't particularly sign up to social media to have a conversation with a robot. Like, some people love that. That's their thing.
Mhm.
And so I'm hoping that the core desire of humans to connect with other humans will mean that either that content becomes completely irrelevant and therefore ceases to work and exist, or that either, we move to a new platform where there is no AI generated content, or there's something else. I feel like we'll always find a way to get back to what we really want from a platform. So I'm hoping that goes that way. We
Yeah.
shall see. Yeah.
And also just like I consciously just like craft what I want to see
Me too.
and really make sure if I don't like something, I click show me less of this, please. Ew.
Yeah.
And also, making sure that I limit my hours on social media. I check on how I'm feeling and whether it's inspiring me to create or not. Making sure when I do turn up, I've got a distinct purpose for being on there, whether I want to create, whether I want to connect, not just consume all the time.
Mm.
I think it's a really important year to be very intentional with our attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what are your thoughts or predictions for how things go in terms of online business or business in general? There's a lot of people thinking, oh, it's too late, or, it's just too hard to compete now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on, like, is it still worthwhile pursuing this whole idea of online business or being in the creative spaces, those sorts of things?
I always think it's a hilarious question because
Yeah.
it's always been the question, like, is that something that you should even do? And it was because, like, when it first started, it was like, oh, but there's like not even any software that you can use. You have to kind of hand code everything yourself. And also, nobody's heard of e-courses, nobody heard of ebooks. Like, that's just like nobody wants to buy anything online. And then the
Mm.
blogging heyday. Is it too late to be a blogger? Have you missed the 2012 heyday? And then, oh, like, have you missed the boat? It's always like, it's now's not the good time. And
Yeah,
that is
it
just
never is.
such horseshit. It's such horseshit. Like, it is always a good time to create. It is always a good time to share. And it's always a good time to build your dreams in whatever way that looks like for you. Like,
Mm.
it's amazing that people now are more comfortable with buying online.
Yeah.
That's not going to go backwards. It's just going to continue to go forwards. And I think people still want more than ever unique perspectives, unique stories, and connection, sharing, community, people that can be role models and inspirations and guide them to different ways of being and thinking and living.
And, like, since the dawn of time, we've always been drawn to story, and we've always been drawn to learning about each other through different lenses and for different reasons. But yeah, I totally agree. I started this podcast in 2015 and I thought I'd missed the boat. I was like, every podcast exists and I'm so late to this party. And actually, I was looking at my feed the other day, like, the top 4 or 5 podcasts I listened to, like, without fail, all started after 2018.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here I was in 2015 going, oh, it's too late. You can't have a successful podcast anymore. It's too late. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so for anyone who's listening along and they want to be in that space of creating and showing up online and being visible, what kinds of advice, or do you have any tips for them?
Firstly, you're going to need to like create a bit of silence for you to be able to understand your own voice. And so you need to like have some practices in place where you can create and discern your own eye instead of consuming so much of everyone else that it becomes like it gunks up your filters. And you don't know what's yours and what's somebody else's thoughts. So one, building in the silence, but two, the only way you can actually learn is by the doing, is by the playing, is by the experimenting. When my first blog post back in 2004, I'd heard of a blog post and I was like, I'm going to go home tonight after my office job and go build one. And built one. I was like, yeah, watch me go. And the first post I created was a Gwyneth Paltrow quote that was kind of fat phobic. Like it was, I don't even know. I just Googled something and I put it in there and that was my first post. It's shit, but I've not like deleted it off there because I'm like, well, that's where we started from. And the next thing was better. And like, it kept on growing and shifting and evolving over time. And I got more and more comfortable with pressing publish. And I built skills as I went. And my photography improved over the years. And my writing improved over the years. But there's also just like this beautiful rarity in terms of the early content there, because it was just completely thoughtless in so many ways. And just like, yeah, that's what happened that day. You splattered that on a page, girl. I'm really proud of you. So the only way that you can like get there is the through and the playing, and you can't think your way to success. You can only do and experiment, try, play, reiterate over and over again.
Yeah. And I think there's another piece of advice kind of embedded in that, which is you don't try something once and then decide that you're not good at it. Like I say, like you don't watch a toddler try and learn to walk and then they plonk on their bottom and they're like, no, I guess I'm just not the walking kind. And I'm the same. Like I look back at my first videos and I only created videos because Denise Duffield Thomas had videos. And I was like, well, I'm going to have them too. And the first ones are hilarious. Like I used the fade in, fade out between every cut, but I recorded one sentence at a time. So it's like one sentence, fade in, fade out. One sentence, fade in, fade out. Which always makes me laugh because in The Simpsons, Homer Simpson like creates his first ever video and star wipe is his favorite transition. So he's like, this, star wipe, this, star wipe. And I basically, like having laughed at that, still did the same thing, but just with fade in, fade out. But I still have that video because it's like I look back on her like, oh my gosh, I was so brave and I shared that on the internet. And I not only shared it, but then I made another one and then I made another one. And when I think about why, because I honestly felt like I was not good at video when I first started doing it. And I honestly think it was just, I just wanted to be good at it. And so I wanted to give it a good go. And I'm so grateful to my past self for like continuing to do it, even though I could tell quite quickly that I wasn't great at it. And it's that, you've just got to keep trying and don't judge your skill at something the first time you try it. Yeah. Yeah.
And like this, like it's an enormous like play. Like if you can imagine like your whole career is play of just trying things out. I've just been going through all of my old photos from like 2004, 2005, 2006, all my old blog posts because I had a friend pass away and last week, and I was looking for photos of him, and he used to appear on my blog back in those days because he was always up for whatever freaking random adventure I'd come up with. And the photos I found, because I wanted to send it to his family, they were hilarious. Like they were just so over processed. And I was like, wow, you really love that purple filter, don't you, Leonie? Like, oh, that's quite the stylistic choice. But you know what? It was of the time and I'm proud it happened. And it brought me so much delight and love to see these beautiful, hilarious pictures.
Oh, I remember when I first got on my phone one of those filter apps before Instagram existed,
Yes.
and same
Yes.
thing, like the slightly funny in the corner photo frame. Oh my gosh, just so good,
I was
spectacular.
obsessed with the A Beautiful Mess podcast,
Oh
the A
yeah,
Beautiful Mess app where you could put
app.
words and images over the top. It was like, oh my God, we are so avant-garde right now.
We were trailblazers, Leonie. Trailblazers. Yes, yeah. We were the first people who used filters to make our digital photos look like film photos.
We really went there. We
Yeah.
really went there.
Yeah, absolute trailblazers. And the thing that I love is I actually stumbled across a lot of them, and you don't get the original photo and the filtered one. It was like you committed to that filter. That was your filter. There's a certain like 6 month period of my life where every photo I have taken is with the exact same filter. And that's just, I know exactly the year those photos were taken.
The blue tinge. That was
The
my
blue.
trademark.
Yeah, love the
Yeah,
blue.
that
Yeah.
was big, wasn't it? I thought that's
Mm,
how people know I'm a serious photographer. The
yeah.
blue tinge.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that. Button click, blue tinge. Messing with your settings. Done. Done. I actually, this kind of outs myself now. I still use the Vivid filter to this day on my phone. So technically, I'm still filtering everything.
I
Love
need to
the
put my hand up and
color.
say I also do exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
Tish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and me, soulmates, soulmates,
Soulmates. Vivid soulmates.
give it soulmates.
I love it. So I love this theme of like trying things and embrace the play, and you're not judging how good you're going to be by how good you are the first time you try. That's so powerful. And I think that even it's not just about art, or it's not just about the creative side. It's also about really simple and basic parts of your business, things like deciding to send newsletters and emails, or things like doing a sales page, or writing content and posts. I know I used to be terrible at asking questions that people could actually answer. Like for some reason, whenever I asked a question, it was almost like I was trying to lead people in exactly the answer that they were supposed to give me, or I didn't ask the question in a way that actually gave people space to give me real responses, or it was over convoluted, those types of things. So I think there's so many different areas of our lives, and particularly in business, where this all applies, taking that learning mindset and remembering that you'll get better and better with the doing.
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
like, I work with Kerry Rowett, and you work with
Same.
Kerry as well.
Yes.
Sorry if that's an industry secret, but
Mm.
Kerry Rowett is the industry's best kept secret.
She was on a recent podcast as one of my 5 favorite mindset mentors. So it's
Yeah,
not a
okay,
secret.
good.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, but we had to set a goal last year for me to produce 2 duds a year. So because I was getting stuck in this, like, but is it going to be successful? Is this going to be the right thing? And I was just overthinking it. And so I had to just like get into the mindset again of spaghetti on the wall. I have to produce at least 2 duds a year to know that I've produced enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I need some absolute floozies in order to go,
Mm.
yeah, you nailed that, Leonie.
Amazing. Oh, that's so good. It's really interesting because I have sort of in the last few years been more focused in on keeping things as boundaried as I can as I was recovering from my surgery and all that kind of stuff. But this year I am also feeling that sort of openness and expansiveness. And my first launch of this year, I decided to do all new webinars because I was like, we'll just experiment with some new stuff. And I did feel a little bit of that, but what if I could have just rolled out one of my old ones? But it was so valuable to me. One worked better than the other, but it was the insight into why that then allowed me to come up with something else new that I know is going to be spectacular for the next time around. So yeah, I like this, making some duds. Let's make some duds.
Mm-hmm. And now I also have to like get myself really courageous because I've gotten really used to presenting things with a slideshow and my dot points and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done my era of that. And now I want to present like as like just a full download.
Yeah.
And that's pressing all my buttons as somebody who's now like gotten into this very like formulaic teaching practice. But I want to see if I can make it more meaningful, more transformational, more deeply felt by more making it more of a connection and conversation instead of like, here's my top 5 bullet points for this specific topic.
Oh, and I feel like we got to witness that a little in at conference last year when you did your amazing presentation, which I introduced by saying, Leonie's amazing and she always gives us this in business and that in business. And then you just did something else, which was amazing. And I think the slide said Leonie doing whatever the F she wants. So you totally nailed that. And I remember at the time feeling like this is such depth and this is so like more connected and more like just your genius on show. And like that had slides and things, but I'm so excited to see like the next iteration of that. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see that in the academy as well?
Yes, it's going to be in the academy as well. It's quite delicious. So I started, like I did 2025 Dream Quest, which I released as like a free 3-day masterclass. And then it was only free for 2 weeks. And then it just became an academy exclusive. Right. And that was like me just like testing out the waters. And it was so beautiful and so heartfelt. And also like downloading it was like a real test of my trust because they get like my guides, like they always give me all the information I need to know for everything. And I just write it all out and cool, we're ready to go. And they gave me everything for the first 2. And I was like, oh, okay, may I have the rest of the information now? They're like, no, it'll come in time. It'll come in time. And I'm like, I'd really like to know. I'd really like to know. I'd really like to know. And the night before the call, we went to go see Steve Backshall live. And Steve Backshall is like this, he's like English Steve Irwin crossed with Bear Grylls. He's an amazing human, and my daughter loves him. He's so beautiful. But it was incredible being there live because all of the information like started downloading through like in response to being there. And I was like, oh, I get it. I have to trust this process and be this conduit for what is happening right now. And it was beautiful. It was really, really potent. I think it was that and the Heart Centered Business Conference talk I gave was probably some of the most potent work I've done in years.
Yeah. We had to take a break. We were all just a mess of tears and so connected and inspired, like had to take a breath before we moved on to the next thing because it was such a powerful experience to witness it and also to learn from it, not just from what you were saying, but how you were showing up. It was just spectacular. So I feel very special that it was at Heart Centered Business Conference that you did that and unleashed it on the world. So thank you. Okay, so let's dive into in the academy. Is there anything in particular that you're inspired by or that's coming up that people should keep an eye out for, or stuff that's already in there that you think is particularly pertinent right now?
So we now have, so every 2 weeks, the academy has a call. So 1 week, one is a straight coaching call where I go through people's questions. And then the second call of the month is a get shit done call. So people turn up and they share what they're going to be working on. And then everyone gets to working. And then I'm there still to answer questions and keep people just moving along. So that's been really beautiful to add in that get shit done kind of component to it as well. I always tell people with business, whatever they're struggling with, to start with Sales Star in the academy. That's my massive sales masterclass in terms of writing sales emails, sales pages, and just getting people to listen to what you say and getting them to take action in whatever way that you want them to take action, including to buy now, and how to build that know, like, and trust factor with people in a way that is authentic and heart-centered and non-scammy and loving, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's always a great place to start. And then you also get access to the calendar of live calls and coaching and guest experts that are coming out, and then the new programs as they get added into the list as well. But it's there for whatever you want to do. So there's 40 days to finish your book if you're somebody who wants to write your book. There's 40 days to create and sell your e-course if that's something that you're wanting to do. If you want to do marketing without social media, there's a program in there for you. If you want to work less and earn more and learn how I did like the whole 10 hours a week and $1 million company, that program's in there for you. There's just whatever questions people ask me the most, I create a comprehensive program about it and pop it in there, and then it's yours to dive into when you need it.
Amazing, amazing. And as I said, we'll have the affiliate link for that in the show notes of today's episode. So make sure that you come and grab that and go and check out is it Business and Life or Life? What's the academy name now?
Brilliant Biz and Life Academy.
Brilliant Biz and Life Academy. And also I will link to your free stuff page because you've got some amazing free resources available for people as well. Leonie, if there was something that I would quote you on, or if there's a last thought you'd like to share with our listeners, what might that be today?
That it may feel like the world is crazier and harder than ever. But here's the thing I want you to know. It's always been crazy, and it's always been really hard. And if we look at our ancestors and what they've gone through, both in the recent past and then further back, you'll remember that we as humans are built for this. We're built for challenge. We're built for innovation. We're built for creativity. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging and call on all parts of us, but that's what makes us grow. And the world needs us. The world needs us just as much as ever, if not more, to turn up and do the work that we are supposed to in the world. I always remember I had this brilliant American VA, and she came over to visit, and we were talking about the difference between the Bush years and the Obama years. And she said, and she was, somebody who was a Democrat. And she said, but the interesting thing is during Republican years, people realize that we can't leave it up to the government. And so volunteering goes through the roof. Community building goes through the roof. Donations go through the roof. People are more actively involved in activism and community building during those times. And I feel like the same thing is being called out of all of us. Now is not the time for us to rest on our laurels. Now is the time for us to step up and shine our light bigger and brighter than ever before in whatever ways that we are called. I feel like the world is needing us and the medicine and the gifts that we can bring. So whatever you need to do to look after your spirit and tend to it and protect it and not overwhelm it with all of the information, and just stay devoted to your one true beautiful life and the magic you can create. That's the best we can do.
Oh, you're making me teary.
I'm crying to get a doll.
It's a message I think I needed to hear today. So hopefully other listeners really treasure that as well, and it really resonates for them, because I 100% agree. Like, there's so much that we can be doing, and there's so much in just our defiant presence being around that makes a difference, and it gives other people that strength to be brave. It gives other people that strength to know that they're not on their own. And so that your existence is an act of defiance really shines through, doesn't it?
And also that our presence can be an act of love as well.
Yep.
I genuinely, for so many years, I was like, I am not freaking teaching anyone who's a Trump supporter. And, it was all over my sales pages and everything. And I sat with myself earlier this year, and I thought, these people more than ever need love, and they need a model of evolution and growth and healing, because so often we fall for people who are charismatic narcissists if we've already experienced narcissistic abuse, or if there's some part of us that isn't healed in the ways that we can step up and be powerful. So how can I grow myself enough to be able to hold space in the energy of love and transformation and healing, and the hope that people can find a way to see the humanity and the divinity in themselves and the ones around them. So
Mm.
that's been my big journey this year.
Mm. Oh, so deeply profound. Thank you so much, Leonie, for joining me today. Thank you as well for the gifts that you bring in the Academy and in the world. We'll also make sure we link over so people can find you and follow you. But I would definitely recommend for everyone listening, Leonie's emails that she sends out regularly are like diary entries and love notes and just spectacular opportunities to read like what feels like a very connected and loving message. So I'd also recommend, if you're not on Leonie's mailing list, make sure that you jump in and join that too. Thank you, Leonie. And thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, we cannot wait to see you shine. Wasn't that lovely? Oh my goodness. I absolutely love and adore Leonie, and I am a huge raving fan of her academy. So as promised, please do make sure that you come to the show notes of today's episode at tashcorbin.com/476. And there you'll find the show notes of today's episode, my affiliate link to Leonie's free resources, but also my affiliate link if you'd like to join the Academy. And if you did find out about Leonie and the Academy through this podcast, or this is the thing that nudged you to join, I would really, really appreciate if you use my affiliate link. It's a lovely little payday when I got my commission from Leonie. We're spreading the love. And so do make sure you go and grab those links, tashcorbin.com/476. And as promised, here's what Leonie said right after we stopped our interview. It is quite demonic, but also very loving. Yay!
Nailed it.
Thank you.
I love you, Dolly.